So hello everybody, this is the last session of this conference. We have a small change in our program, so Abazar Shobairi will talk to us now. Abazar is at the moment a postdoc student in Athens, and his subject is In the Land of the Mycenaeans, some thoughts on the Mycenaean irrigation and hydraulic systems. So, Abazar.
Thank you very much. Το βάλω αυτό. Good morning, dear colleagues. This is a great privilege for me to have this opportunity of speaking to you here about the material of my recent studies on Mycenaean hydraulic works and irrigation in the hinterland of Greece. Generally, this study used the available archaeological remains, which could be a manner to review all physical remains and historical attested to better demonstrate the context of hydraulic works and irrigation. In addition, the social irrigation landscape construction can be examined from the material found in the Mycenaean hinterland. The relation between human actions with the surrounding environments is always important, and it is two-way communication. This is exactly correct in the Greek societies and their natural environments. Human communication of the Greek intermountain region demonstrate large interaction in the managing of the environment, at least have been existed from the Mycenaean period. The weather of the Mediterranean has considerable seasonal pattern in which the summer are surrounded by warm and dry environments, while the winter are generally mild and wet. These topographical features, in conjunction with the land and environment, have direct impact to water resources. Mycenaeans has a large contribution to the landscape of the mainland Greece. For example, social patterns are sometimes imposed by the landscape. They in behavior in the stable way. The same human patterns occur in the same landscape again and again. The Mycenaean society was generally stable and well-organized one, with a very strict classified system, very similar to the planet economy. I would like to give you some practical example of Mycenaean hydraulic works in mainland Greece and their interaction between the development of irrigated agriculture and economy. The conception of the Mycenaean agriculture emerged mainly came from the archaeological evidence and hydraulic investment. For example, here, the Kopaias Dam and Canal, it's one of the most important hydraulic investment in the Mycenaean period. The Kopaias was a shallow and seasonal lake located approximately 50 kilometers northwest of Thisbe. In the center of Viotia, it is a natural basin covering an area around 130 square miles surrounded by the hills and mountains. The geological features of the whole district is mainly limestone, and the water from the lake escaped from the fissures and its limestone around its edge. The plain itself is about 100 meters above the sea level. The lake of Kopais was supplied by Kiphisos and Melas River from the west and the Helicon, Phalaros, and Lifos stream from the south. Excuse me. Yeah. The water resource and the fertile land have attracted human habitation since the Neolithic times, while abundant archaeological evidence demonstrates that the Mycenaean settlement existed all around, dating particularly from late Helladic 3A2 and late Helladic 3B. It is clear that the hydraulic works in Copaias Basin is one of the most important examples of Mycenaean large-scale engineering in central Greece. The so-called Mycenaean Canal is a remarkable example of Mycenaean design in the central Boeotia. The dimensions of this massive canal are at least 25 kilometers in length, bordering the lake to the north and reaching the sea and the Avia Gulf, some 30 meters wide and 3 meters depth. This canal had a multi-purpose uses. Just Canals accounts that canal was created for 3 main purposes. A. Direct and quick discharge of fluid water of the Kephissos is a natural underground holes. The catawaters during the winter rainfall and after the melting of the snow, in order to control the increasing the water depth in the lake to the protecting effect of the older polder dikes. B. Transport to the fresh water to the settlement and the field during the dry season, especially the pattern sufficient flow from the Melos spring. C. Installation of an inland investigation stream in order to achieve a favorable way of transport from the capital to the region to the east of the basin and the sea. These are some examples of the catawaters. It was a natural hole to the drainage water from the Copaias lake. However, this should be known that the Mycenaeans were used catawaters as a method to collect water from Kephissos, Melas, and Herican rivers in order to transport the water through the whole drainage system. This hydraulic project needed a series of artificial canals directed to the natural ones. The catawaters, which moved water from northeast corner of the Kephissos of the Copaias and to the eastern shore. This means that catawaters were used to maximize water drainage by canalization to the main river and the major outlet from the Copaias lake. Totally, about 25 catawaters have been identified, but not the same size, and were located mostly in the eastern and southeastern side of the basin. Another important point that could be emphasized concerns several components of the possibly Middle Helladic and renewed in late Helladic time. Polder dikes mostly along the north side of the lake, preeminent reservoir on its northwest bay, and a smaller canal east of Gla. This is a view of Gla. The attempts through the history to drain Lake Copaias in Greece, especially in the Mycenaean period, were clearly and considerable natural and technological importance in what water control and manage the concerned prehistoric Greek world. Both archaeological evidence and ancient tradition confirm the existence of sophisticated drainage technique and sequence-rich cultivation of Copaias region. it is obvious that the drainage system of canal and dam in Kopayas have created one of the most fertile and well-irrigated plain in Greece. The hydraulic system developed in the Viotia throughout the Mycenaean age, and even earlier, largely contributed to its becoming a significant province. Archaeological record attests that flourishing economy based on impressive agricultural production. Indeed, Kopayas was water management system and remarkable accomplishment in prehistoric Greek with large-scale harbor labor and well-known investment. Another example is the dam of Thisbe. Thisbe is located in the southwest Viotia in a wide valley of the southeastern side of the mountain Helicon. Inscriptions confirm that ancient site can be identified to the modern village of Kakosi. It's lie about 4 kilometers from the sea in the Permios Valley. The valley runs the risk in date because of the water coming down from the mountain and case heavy rainfall because of the river Permisos. Therefore, a dam has been built there since prehistoric time. Pausanias reported that the strong dike had been built along the middle of the plain, south of ancient Thisbe. Scholars have made several attempts to study of Mycenaean hydraulic work in Thisbe Valley. Again, Just Knaus studies indicate that there are 2 great dams, probably related to the more extensive drainage and flood protection system in Thisbe. One of the most notable characteristics of Mycenaean was their ability to collect the resources and labor force for run to hydraulic projects of such a large organization scale. It is questionable whether 1 or even 2 or 3 of the above provincial centers could have undertaken them. Mycenaean dams were built of earthen and uneven masonry block to diverse seasonal torrent. Other embankments were built and marshed, converted by drainage, have farmland irrigated. Hope Simpson and Hagel have claimed that the major Mycenaean construction projects were controlled over man and so far as possible over nature. It is not surprising that the great plain of Viotia was a rich fertile region in the Mycenaean war. There are also some example techniques of drainage and irrigation system during the Mycenaean age of mainland Greece. It should be noted that another remarkable hydraulic structure and drainage works are in the Peloponnese. Drainage work in Peloponnese in the plain of Phenos and Kaphia and the Stymphalia Lake as a close basin are the uncertain date. But some scholars argue that is all related to Mycenaean work, and also they were used in the classical and later period. This wide region are watery and have rich lands suitable for farming. Even nowadays, the land of Viotia consists of mountain green plain and provided rich farming. In the plain's southeast corner lie to the major Viotia city, Thisbe. The second city was Orchomenos, in the plain northwest corner opposite the Thisbe. In Orchomenos, both archaeological evidence and historical accounts confirm confirm sophisticated drainage technique in the rich cultivation of the Copais region. These components were described by Pausanias. His consideration were sufficient, allowing for consideration of the earth dam and drainage system. Another Mycenaean dam located in central Boeotia in the Thisbe region. Now I want to just put some observation of transition of water technology to the classical time. There are some literary evidence indicate that the classical period Greece attempt to dry lake for cultivation activity. It has been customary actions to provide exclusively land for agriculture activities. This is achieved through the landscape planning and design process developed that demonstrate Greek ability for changing a landscape to carry out remarkable hydraulic project. As we mentioned earlier, such a model hydraulic project was practiced in the Mycenaean and in Copais Lake in Boeotia region. Other textual resources were relating to few large-scale drainage accomplishments where that the act of drainage involved massive modification of the land, which took an almost mythological status. Strabo, at the end of the 1st century BC, for example, wrote that Boeotia, the Mycenaean, in the 2nd millennium BC, and then Alexander the Great, attempt to drain the land around Lake Copais, which flooded in the winter and created huge lake. So this is the historical account of Pausanias. The canalization of Copais basin in Boeotia is well known as an artificial drainage and water control during the Mycenaean period. Mycenaean government came into the region for the determination of preserving and protecting property rights, regulating and supply of common resources such as water for irrigation and development of cultivation. I had the opportunity to discuss prehistoric irrigation and drainage system as a briefly in Greece and particularly in the Copais Lake, and it is important role in agricultural production for Mycenaeans. They need to irrigate crops, but also to control excesses of water required vast-scale collaboration, along with the command and control structures. Mycenaeans have been successful in this regard. Probably such a great project like Copais has been supported by local governments, at least. Sorry, I lost it. Which must have a stand for preserving and protecting property rights and for regulating the supply of common resources, such as water for irrigation and development of cultivation. Most likely, one of the most notable landscape character of Mycenaean civilization was ability to collecting the resource and labor force for commerce, large-scale irrigation organization, and managing the hydraulic projects. Although the role of hydraulic works in prehistoric economy, it is clear in the mainland of Greece, but Mycenaeans have been initial people that used systematic way for irrigation, farming, and cultivation in the Bronze Age. Most well-known function for the hydraulic structures such as dam, canal, and catawaters have been to drainage and irrigating the land. The Mycenaean prehistoric hydraulic works, particularly in Copaia's hydraulic investment, were for large-scale cultivation, where the water could be used for irrigation. And thank you very much for your attention. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the organizers. It was an excellent conference that I have been participating ever. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Abazar, for this kind words and for your presentation. Are there any questions? Please.
You showed a map on one of the slides. You showed a map with like all the Mycenaean irrigation and massive constructions. But there you lacked their kilos, because there is evidence that there was a massive artificial harbor created by Mycenaeans.
Yes.
So I wonder why you haven't mentioned it.
The harbor, I know, and also the many scholars talk about this. And Zogner also have many studies about this, and many publications, and also the book Pilos Sandy has a part about this harbor, but I didn't talk about the harbors. Yes, thank you.
Please.
Could you please louder? I cannot hear.
Okay. Do we know if there are hydraulic works that connect the main Mycenaean sites? Are there any evidence that...
To hydraulic connect to the Mycenaean site.
Yeah. Connect them actually.
As I mentioned,
The distances are not very long.
actually we cannot say they connect the Mycenaean site, but they are related to Mycenaean site. How we can understand what is the irrigation system, what's related to it, because we know there is a canalization to the Mycenaean site. Then we can connect the Mycenaean site to the hydraulic works. And also it is difficult to dating, I didn't mention it, it is difficult to dating the canal for the irrigation, because one canal may be used for a millennia and for centuries. This happened in the Mesopotamia and also in southwestern Iran. In Greece also that had the same manner. So maybe it's connected to the Mycenaean settlement. And also the excellent observation and studies have been accomplished by Haupt Simpson and Hagel as a book, Mycenaean Highway, Dams and Roads, and it published in 2006.
What's the connection? In this area we have Thebes and we have Glad, we have all these big Mycenaean sites, which are constituting, let's say, something like centers. Copais, this kind of drying of Copais, or using Copais for this hydraulic system, was connecting cooperation between these sites, or it was competition between these sites?
No, they just, as I understand, they used Copaias to drainage Copaias for agriculture. And also this they used for the later period. So I don't understand exactly what's your
question. Who was controlling this kind of...
I mentioned, and this I suggest that have been controlled by local governments.
You have two centers or three centers.
Yeah, three centers.
Like you may have a conflict of who was using this fertile land.
Fertile land. These are not some ordinary people. They cannot to control this. These are under the rule of the kings and also local governments to manage this organization. So it can be imagined like that. And also the other evidence that we can say where there is a fortification, and also Jacobidis pointed out that this fortification have been to protect the Mycenaean site and Mycenaean hydraulic works, also the Mycenaean storage houses. Therefore, we can conclude that it was the main center for the agriculture, for the economy of Mycenaeans.
Regarding this, I have a small comment. Actually, there is an excavation going on at the Ios Ioannis Hill near Tilas.
Near
It's
Tilas.
some kilometers, it's not very far away.
Recently,
Recently, and I don't know of any publications yet.
yes,
but
but in Euphoria,
yes, and I meant to say that it has to do with the control of the
Yes.
irrigation system and the control of who has, because this is the point of this hill is not that strategic in the valley, but it is very close to the Katabothres, whose control is very vital because if someone would destroy them, then the glass would
Yes.
become a lake. And I find this interesting. I don't
Thank
know if you know about this, but
yes, and also I know about this. Yeah, it was an excavation with the German scholars, collaboration Greek and German scholars, and it has been done in 2008, 9, and
It's-
published in the Water Journal.
more recent.
More recently,
Yeah.
I
It's
know just
ongoing.
until 2011, just and recently, no, I don't know.
I have a question. It's something that I have no idea, and maybe you can help me understand.
Yeah.
So, when you find such a channel, an irrigation channel or a similar construction,
Mm.
how can you date it? I mean, it's not a specific structure. Maybe it has no context or any find, because if the water is flowing the whole time, I suppose that
Yes.
every single find that's dropped inside is taken away. But how can you understand when channel in the irrigation system was constructed?
I think I mentioned this when I answered it, but I will again it. I can say it.
I mean,
So
for the
yeah,
dating, how
for the
do
dating canal, yeah, I mentioned that the canalization and also dating the canal for irrigation, it is difficult. But why it is difficult? Because a canal must be used for a millennia and for a century. The exact dating can be done with chemical investigation and with OSL or OSL with these are something. Correlation, archaeological studies, and geological studies to understand the deposits. Yeah, it is the exact. So in Iran, they will the compilation and it's good result we published, but I don't know if is it accomplished or still done in Greece and Mycenaean or also before Mycenaean. But as I know, for the harbor, the pillars that that mentioned our friends, yeah, it's started, and also such as these studies have been done. With both of them. For example, the Tyrrhen's Dam, where the Tyrrhen's Dam was built to protect the flow and the stream in the front of the Mycenaean citadel. Yeah, but yeah, these are something that can be controlled by the governments. This is not ordinary. This is not for the people that they use for daily use. This is actually government by local governments. This is not something very common and usual because we don't have many dams, but at least 6 or 7 dams that identify in the mainland Greece. Yeah, they are for the two reasons. One reason is for irrigation, for irrigation and cultivation the land. The second reason is for the protecting the palace and protecting the flow.
But
Yes, not all. Yeah, each region had the local government to control it. Please.
Okay, actually, Piotr has a question, and then Alexandra, and then we have to go on.
Mhm.
But it's again about this control of those investments, so kind of continuing the same thing. But so there is a concept developed by David Felder and some other scholars that the Mycenaean lands were actually united within a single empire or kingdom. And one of the points he uses is that those huge investments, also dams or well, everything you mentioned, this is one of the points for him that there has to be one central center of power for all this land, as this was beyond the regional centers, beyond the power of regional center to do such a huge investment. And I wanted just to ask what you think about it. Have you tried to analyze like the work output needed to build all of this, and if that's helps the idea of the united Mycenaean Empire?
Well, actually, I didn't think like that, but yeah, it was such a suggestion. It's maybe to be analyzed and to be studied further to understand more and more. But maybe it's another issue.
Okay, last question.
The same thing about the control of the police grain. It's really hard. It's really hard, I think, to be sure and say that one of those Mycenaean sites had the control.
Had the control of what?
The control of
I didn't say nothing with the shore because archaeologists not sure nothing, but it's most likely and probably. So about the controlling, yeah, if you work on a landscape studies control, and also when we are in the central of Mycenaean center of Palatial and also the Citadel Gla, all of them must be controlled by someone or local or the kings. These are not something common. These are something that or royal kings or common governments that they are for the control this. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
we don't have to look for one of all those Mycenaean sites that has the property.
Hmm.
It's hard to detect. That's why I jumped into the
Yeah.
discussion, because they asked about who has the control of such a big investment. And I think it's really hard to detect that archaeologically, not even with the B tablets or any other evidence.
So tablets, I have no idea. But tablets, these are for administrative system and also for the economics. But they don't talk about the hydraulic works and also the controlling such as hydraulic works or irrigation system. Yeah.
Okay. So, Abazar, thank you
You're welcome.
again, and thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.